Hey everyone, this is Bic Benedict. This is the final chapter of my Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 video guide and strategy walkthrough for the above referenced video game. This is the final chapter. It's called Poisoned Blood. Normally when I go to this chapter and I'm on this chapter, I clad myself in the white wardrobe, the white suit, but I'm going into this chapter dark as night because this is a hard as fuck chapter. And when I say that, I'm talking about the Genshin and Elizabeth doubleheader. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done in video games, and I just did it last night. It took me somewhere around 4 or 5 hours all told when I had all the raw footage added up and everything was laying on the cutting room floor like a bunch of severed body parts. But I can't tell you the feeling of legitimately defeating Elizabeth and improving as a player. And what my strongest hope is that the people who are struggling to defeat this game feel a similar feeling of confidence and satisfaction of beating it, because it's extremely difficult. For some reason, I don't know why, they've made this game harder than Ninja Gaiden 2. Somehow they have done it, and it's always been like that for me, and I would always check my other guides. Check out my Sigma 2 guide that I did. It was a long time ago. It was last year. And the Sigma 2 guide I did earlier this year in January, it's called Master the Path of the Master Ninja. And on both of those, what I would do is I would go to Genshin and kill him, defeat evil Genshin, and then I would equip the scythe and charge attacks behind his dead body. And it's a really good trick if you can't beat him, but that's what it is. It's a trick. And this guide has not been about tricks in games and being cheap and things like that. And I even promised, I vowed in the first chapter, somewhere, I don't know at what point I said it, but I said it, I know I did, specifically on that chapter, because I've always felt ashamed of myself for not being able to beat it, and some people would say, you know, there's no reason to feel ashamed, but for some reason my ego can't handle it, and I couldn't move on from that ever. And last night, I gotta be honest, I was gonna do that trick and just say I couldn't do it, but my ego would not let me do it. It was like my ego was this huge thing, like a huge wall in front of me that would not let me in, like a huge door, like the final doors we're going to be going to before we face Dagra Dai. There was that indomitable, but I beat that bitch fair and square, and I was so elated. There was such a sense of satisfaction. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. And the thing is, she's tough. I mean, there's no other way around that. She is one of the hardest enemies. I think she may as well. There's nothing harder than her in the double header. It's going to be coming up here, and I'm going to leave the shooting of these blood eels here. Excuse me. I also have this weapon equipped because I went there. By the way, the reason I have this in is because it's part of the game, and whatever's part of the game, I respect this game so much, even though I think it's incredibly hard, that I'm going to leave everything in it, even if it's just the formality of shooting these blood eels. But what I did was, because there are a lot of people who do the forward triangle attack with this weapon here, and that's fine. It's actually a really good strategy, but it's a strategy that's simply not for me. And there's other strategies. I mean, we all play the way we're going to play. And I've seen people no damage Elizabeth and no damage evil Genshin. I'm not that person. I have to use every single healing item, but the thing is, I can beat it. Now I can say I can beat it. And a cruel irony afterwards, the server kicked me off, so I had to do the fight over again, but in that instance, I just went back behind Genshin and spammed the Eclipse scythe, because I was not about to spend another 5 hours trying to beat her. So that's the reason why I have the Osamubi, and I have pretty much all my items after the fight. But the footage you're going to see is me because there's no one else here in my room. I did it last night, and now I won't feel ashamed anymore. So, also never have, like I said before, I should have learned from my own mistake. Don't ever sign into the fucking server, because anytime your internet fails, it's going to kick you out. If you're on the final boss and your internet goes out, it's going to end the game, and it's just so bad. But, okay, here we go, up ahead. We have a course right there that's going to give us an herb of spiritual life, and over here we have some Nimpo. So don't overbuy anything over here. And the technique, even though I have the Tonfa equipped over here, like I said a minute ago, it's not for me. The strategy is too complicated and complex, even though it's pretty base and linear and self-evident about what you're supposed to do, just forward triangle, and to stun tests and everything like that, and then two forward triangles with an evasion thrown in. That's too complicated for me, and I suppose that is downplaying my abilities a little bit, or not giving myself enough credit. But this is what I'm normally accustomed to doing: keeping my guard up and letting him go in for strikes, and then evading, and then using triangle attacks. Now, basically, this form of Genshin, you cannot Azuna drop. So you have to find some other way to deal with this guy. The scythe works pretty well. I mean, it's got range, but the only button press that's going to work with that weapon is the square button, because the triangle button's too slow. You can't recover from it. But this is a fast enough weapon. I mean, this is the strongest weapon we have to use. And you see how it stuns him? But you're not always going to be able to hit him. He's either going to flinch and let you hit him, or he's not. And that's just the way it works. And also, I believe if he ever has a fire attack on his hand or anything like that, just avoid hitting him. Even though I do it sometimes, I just can't help it. But I think that's how it works. It's not really fair. He has a really nasty grab. But if you could get to Elizabeth... You see, the problem I had with Elizabeth was I got there, but all I had was one of the talismans of rebirth, and the Miramas's Osamubi, and that was it for healing items. And I had Nimpo too, but a quote-unquote pro who could no damage defeater would say, well, you have more than enough. You know what? I didn't have more than enough. I did not have enough for what I needed. And I'm my own person, I'm my own gamer, and I did the battle, and you're just going to have to do the battle unless you don't feel the sense of shame that I do, if you hide behind his body like I did. And I couldn't go out with that. I could not go out being a coward with my tail between my legs, because these are called advanced tactics. They're not called cheap tactics. So it's just one of those things. It's a pride issue. I have a big ego. I know I do. And at least I could be objective about it somewhat. And in as much as we are all subjective animals at our nature and in our core. So, I mean, he's a fairly easy foe. I mean, all he's going to do is dash at you, try to do the flying swallow, which you can block, and just go in for triangle strikes. That's all. That's the only button I'm pressing here. So this fight is going to get slowed down considerably here, so I could actually speak about what he's doing. So there's a flying swallow, blocked it, took no damage. It broke my guard though. So I'm going in for. Sometimes I kind of stun test him, see if he flinches, and then you'll see me back off right away. And you might be thinking to yourself, why are you doing that? And it's because I'm afraid. I mean, I don't want to get damaged too much on this guy. I need to get to Elizabeth with at least 2 grains, the Osamubi, the rice cakes, and a talisman of rebirth, plus pretty much everything. I can't afford to use much on this guy. And if you need to do that, just constantly evade. Just break your analog stick if you have to. But fortunately, hopefully you won't have to do that, because I'm using a brand new pad and it's working really nice. It's a nice paddle that I bought. None of the buttons are sticking and it's working out really well. But the thing is, you have to constantly evade while blocking. You have to do, because if you're not blocking, your ass is fucking grass. But sorry to have to spew cliches while I'm fighting this guy. But simply put, you're always keeping your guard up. You're evading, and when he's stopped, when his combo has timed out, or when it's finished, you press forward. Excuse me. You evade over to him, and then you press triangle, triangle, triangle. I think I press it 3 times at the most. Sometimes I just do like 1 just to test him, but other times he simply won't let you hit him. And it's the same way with Elizabeth, but with her, it's not that you can't hit her, because if you couldn't hit her, you couldn't defeat her. It's that you have to have her come over to you and do very precise moves. And I think the win that I got last night at like 4 in the morning, because I went to sleep and then I woke up and I was like, I'm beating this. I don't care what the fuck I have to do. I'm taking this bitch down, because it's time. It's long overdue that this shit got done. So before in the earlier chapter, when we first fought her, I had the lunar equipped, and I was doing really well with it at level 3, and I think it was at level 3. It must have been, yeah, it was at level 3, and I was just doing square, square, triangle moves, and it was really working well. In fact, it was working remarkably well, but I believe she's sped up here, and I know she has another attack, an area of effect attack on the ground, that if you're caught in it, good night, because you're going to get all your health taken away, and possibly most of your other health bar taken away too if you have a Talisman of Rebirth equipped. It's so unfair. But the area of effect attack that she does, and I'm sorry I'm speaking over this, but this is self-evident right here. I'm sorry, but I don't need to talk anymore about this guy, because he's not the problem. It's Elizabeth. The area of effect attack that she does, it's 3. So you need to avoid it 3 times. And then when she's up in the air doing that area of effect attack, you can knock her out of the air. And she'll sometimes fall on the ground and give you free jabs at her, like Alma does in Ninja Gaiden Black. But you have to be very careful. And if you're using the Blade of the Arch Fiend, which is going to be at level 4, because we're going to have his weapon once we defeat him. And it's going to have that weapon auto-equipped every time. And pretty much the moves I do... Here she is. She's very formidable, and it's even more ironic because she's not that fast when she's just walking around, but when she's flying around, there's no telling what she's going to do. So here is me getting to her with a lot of items. I had a lot of confidence. Here's the area effect attack. Knock her out of the ground. See that? What I did right there? I think that was 4 triangle, and then the 360 triangle with the iframe. See that? That's an iframe attack. So this fight is going to have to be heavily analyzed because it's so fast of what's going on here. It's amazing. And I was actually throwing a lot of voids at her too, and they take off a good amount of damage. But you'll see that the Inferno, it's all random with the Nimpo hits, whether it hits. But the Nimpo I could always hit her with. The Void is more questionable. You have to aim it normally. So I had a lot of items here, and I was... okay, her heartbeat attack right here. If you don't have any Nimpo, it's okay to evade it, but I don't want any of my health siphoned into hers because it's so hard to take damage off her, even though I'm doing a really good job. But you guys, trust me, this is after like over 100 tries probably. So much struggle here. Okay, here's the area of effect. Oh, fuck. You see that? I was at the cusp of death anyway right there. Deaths, excuse me. And, see, look at that! That is unacceptable damage. Did you see that? It takes away 2 health bars. That's... God. That's why I think this game is harder than Ninja Gaiden 2. I don't think it takes away that much in Ninja Gaiden 2. It can't. But, damn. So, at this point, I still have... No, I used my Talisman of Rebirth. What am I thinking? I have most of my items, and now I was really nervous because I was doing so well, and I considered to myself, like, a run like this for me was so rare. But I was just in a plateau, and I was. Oh, here's my Oso movie. Look how much damage I had left on her. I just needed a few more hits, just maybe like 2 hits. So I finally got him, and I was so satisfied. It was beyond satisfaction. So here is the fight, and I could actually talk about it a little bit more in depth. Hopefully a lot more in depth. So there was no rhyme or reason for throwing that Inferno right there. I was scared, because I'm terrified of this enemy. She's devastatingly difficult. So you want to evade backwards. Never in any direction, anywhere that. Just evade backwards. Watch out for her tail stab. All of her attacks, when your guard gets broken, you get damaged too. So you have to watch out for that. See that classic mistake of mine right there? I was fortunate not to get damaged. So what I'm doing here is I'm just you have to let her come to you. You can't just rush over to her blindly like a madman. Stay close to her as well, and don't get caught in that for the life. See, knock her out of the air. Let's see what I do here. Forward triangle. That's forward triangle, and then I do the spin. No, I didn't do the spin. I did not do the 360. I did that to give myself iframes, but what I did once was forward triangle, I think 3 forward triangles, and then she was still down, but she was at the point where she was going to grab me and kill me. So what I did was I did the 360 spin triangle, and that gave me all the iframes I needed to not get grabbed. But that is so risky that I would just say drop Nimpo instead of trying to do that, because sometimes one fails the 360 rotation of the analog stick, especially for me, and I'm not good at that move, but the only moves that are really acceptable here are the flying swallow. Like if you can get her into a corner, you can do the flying swallow. And forward triangle, that's forward triangle. And the 360. And the reason I tossed shurikens there is because it did the input fail. It did not register I was pressing triangle and circle. So three basic moves. Forward triangle, 360 triangle, or these in a drop with caution, I would say. Or I'll add a 4th. There's the Azuna drop. See, that does a good amount of damage. But yet, see, I was very vulnerable coming down from that swipe right there. And I would also say the flying swallow. So there's 4 moves you can do. And I would have this weapon equipped because I think it gives you a little bit more time hovering in the air, so you can come down with that flying swallow. And it has the iframes move with the forward, or excuse me, the 360 triangle attack. So again, she's, like I said before, she's not hard to evade. She's hard to hit. And she's hard to recover from attacks sometimes, and it's so fast of an enemy when she's doing her strikes. So she's almost dead, and I'm going to cast the Inferno, but she's doing the area effect attack. Was this input fail? No. It might have been input fail when I got grabbed by that area of effect attack. So any hit you can get off her with Nimpo, you're blessed. Just count yourself as really blessed. Was this where I got it? That could very, very well have been input fail. But look at this damage. Is this fair? I should not be damaged anymore, having been recovered right here. I should receive no more damage. But look at that shit. Look at that shit! God! That's why you need to bring a lot of items here. Bottom line. There's just no way. I get hit too much here to not need items. So, okay, let's see what she's doing next. I'm dropping because I'm nervous as hell, especially when she's so low of health. I don't think she gets more aggressive. It's the same enemy, but you start sweating like hell because this was a really good run for me. So she nailed me right there. I've got a couple healing items left, plus Nimpo, so I'm gonna try to get some damage off her with the Inferno if I can. So that missed her right there. I'm gonna Ooh, you see, I was trying to access the menu and then she hit me. It's just another one of those issues. So, I think I do have no healing items left, or the rice cakes left only. So, here's the heartbeat attack. Failed. The computer was not recognizing that I was pressing the Nimpo. That's why I wish you could just press the R2 button to have the Nimpo be it, like in Ninja Gaiden Sigma. Okay, area of effect attack. It looks really scandalous, that move she does right there. It looks really erotic and indecent, but this isn't an indecent fight, to be honest with you guys. This is really bad. So I'm targeting her right there. It doesn't hit her. I just need a couple more hits. That's all I need. So I'm going to use the rice cakes and pray that I could play my best, you know. Skill give me strength to beat this, I'm trying to say to myself. So I know I have the skill, it's just not buckling under the pressure. So I'm blocking, evading, knowing that she's probably not likely to grab. She's just going to do her attack, so I'm going to do evade to her, forward triangle, and that took her out. And I was at the point of tears, admittedly, right there. So let's not think of that ever again. Let's focus on some badass moves we could do with this weapon right here. See this? The underworld drop. I'm going to do it up here. It's rather unfortunate that we can only do it here. I mean, our time with this weapon is so brief. But as you can see, this is the point where I had to do the double header fight again. But it was no big deal since I just used the side attack. It's a quick move that I could just get re-get my progress, because there was no need to get booted off the server just because my internet was dying down, or it failed sometime around midnight. There's the underworld drop. How badass is that? Square, directionally over in any direction, and then 4 triangles will get you that move. And it's a cool move that they actually put in Ninja Gaiden 3. But what they should have put in that game is the heart and soul that they put in this game. So we have mages here, IS ninjas, we have the undead forms of them, and just have fun with this fight. But if you're really worried about getting to the save point, just spam attacks here, because it's really important to not have to do that fight again. But if you do, for some reason, if you get booted off the server, or if if your system crashes or something, you do have that fallback, the fallback move of charging side attacks behind Genshin's body. But I did do that, but that was after I had successfully defeated that bitch and took her out legitimately. And I even wrote on my Twitter page, I'm the best in Ninja Gaiden ever. And obviously I know that's not true, but I was just joking around. So underworld drop again. There you go, you son of a whore. And that just goes with the territory of playing these really hardcore games, because on my channel it says hardcore never dies, and to me, I don't want it to ever die. And if it would have died if I had caved in, but I didn't, and I was successful, and I'm proud of myself. Okay, now we're going to go fight Dagra Dai. What you don't want to have equipped here is what I have. The Endless Fang is a lot better. I'm going to show you a clean, quick strategy. The loadout you want for this is the Endless Fang, the Inferno, and if I were you, I would not have the Talisman of Rebirth equipped, but that's only because I don't like to use it here. So if he kills me, I just like to be respawned really quickly. You will have to remember to equip it after the fight. So the strategy I use is just dispense with the lackeys, and if they drop Nimpo Essence, I like to collect that. I don't like to expedite another charge. He does a laser attack from his swords that are area of effect attacks on the ground, and it's extremely easy to dodge them. And I got to give the PS3 controller all of the benefit, because when you're fighting this guy on the Xbox 360, the left trigger doesn't work. I tell you, this boss fight's a lot more difficult on the 360. But he's going to do that. that move over there, you just want to hold your attack and he's going to teleport to you and slam down on him and then evade. You're going to get iframes with the reverse wind. And I cannot tell you how much difference it is using the PS3 controller. It's much better to deal with his area of effect attack on the ground. So dispense with the lackeys, just get them out of the way. It's just really important to dispense with the Vangels here because they're just they're a nuisance. You don't want to get hit by them. They take a lot of damage off you, and they're distractions. That's all lackeys have ever been in these games, and I don't like them for that. But as you can see, the Endless Fang level 3 is doing the job. When you're away from him, discharge your attack and then wait for him to teleport over to you. It's that simple. I was going to incorporate a side strategy into this, but it wasn't as good as this because coming off its UT, I feel you're a little bit more vulnerable. Plus, this way you don't have to mess with doing the triangle square jumping attacks and trying to get damage that way, which is pretty negligible damage in my opinion. And in any case, you shouldn't have to use any healing items here. The only thing I regret using is too many Nymphos, because you're not going to really need Nympho on the next phase, the next boss, the Immature Fiend. On the next two fights, they're just for creating instant iframes. So I wait for him to teleport like right next to me so I can have the full effect of the UT, and I screwed up right here because I thought his life was almost gone right there, but he will be dead pretty soon. It's just a matter of time. This ET is going to take care of him actually. And then this form of the boss, before this, have your flails equipped, and you don't want money here, you want the fish, but you obviously have no control of the situation. I did not get any Nympho drops. You should get some Nympho drops there, it doesn't make any sense. But here's the immature form, and you need to hit his head, and then that will allow you to hit the white orb in the center of his chest cavity there. Now when he does the blood cough, you need to avoid. So pretty much what you're doing is you're hitting his head. Let me show you when I do it. You hit his head, evade once or twice for the blood cough, and make sure you get your on landings. It's not like you do on landing arrow attacks, but like in Ninja Gaiden 2. But it is helpful to get the on landing not the charge, but just an on landing going for you. So this is a drawn out fight, and it does require a lot of stamina on your part. And he always hits me with something that instantly kills me. So no matter what, I always use a Talisman of Rebirth here. And keep your guard up when he ascends this arena too, this chamber. Now these chests here are rare because on Ninja Gaiden 2 they don't give you anything here. But it was the same for me here because all it was giving me is money. And that's not going to give me anything. It should give me some Nympho orbs. But the Nympho I have on is the Flame Phoenix, and it deals with the projectiles that he throws at you because they're overhead. But the Azuna Drop takes care of those just as efficiently, as you'll see here, and it actually screws me up to have that Nympho equipped. It's better just to have the Inferno equipped. So just be careful when you're making your way up. The only reason I was aiming right there is to see which direction the opposing walls were coming up at. Just always be careful when you're landing. Always keep your guard up because he likes to do a swoop, like right when you land sometimes. Here are his projectiles, and I activated the Nympho right here. In one part, on one behalf because he had the projectiles coming down, and then the half he had the arm. He pounded his arm on the arena floor here. So just you have to hit his head first, and then jump away. I just jump away twice for good measure. I think you can just jump away once, and then hit his white orb. And he generally lets you hit him once or twice before you could do it again, and then just evade his laser attack from his mouth. That attack will get a little bit more aggressive as we proceed through the battle. But see, I'm just hitting him in his head, evading, hitting him in his belly. And what I don't like here is having the bow auto-target places, because at the very end of this, I'm trying to target his head, and it's auto-targeting the area where I'm supposed to hit after I hit his head, but it's targeting his belly, and it's completely useless. And it's a function that I wish you could turn off in this game, the auto-aim of the bow. It screws the player up. So again, a chest that's going to give me money, but what the fuck do I need money for? I need Nympho orbs for iframes, that's what I need. So here I was switching to the Inferno. See that? You really got to watch out for that. And I think that's what actually kills me. All right, over here. So hit his head, jump away twice, hit his belly once. Normally I just take one shot at it because I just don't trust it. And now the actual orb starts its own laser attack. But these are all pretty easy to dodge. So here, look, I'm going to do the Azuna drop on these projectiles. Even though you can't see them, they will eventually fall down to you. See, like, they're still coming. So there we go. That's what I really wanted, a Nympho drop. Finally got that, but I think it screwed me up. Yeah, this completely screwed me up. So automatically dead. Needed to use that. That's why I disable it in the other fight, and now I enable it for this fight. His laser attack, though, is very generous. You'll see his head going one way, and then you just go the other way. And it almost seems to me like it goes out of its way to not hit you sometimes. It's like that in both games. So watch out for that. Just avoid it. Move out of the way. You've got to have, if you've come this far, you have good instincts to play this game, especially if you've defeated Elizabeth. None of these bosses are even remotely as hard as that fight was. So just do your flying bird flip up all these opposing walls. And I like this fight. It's not too bad. I like it on Ninja Gaiden 2 much better because you can charge your arrows when you fire them into him, and it feels like it has a lot better rhythm to the fight with the blood cough and just avoiding getting your on landings, because the on land, it doesn't really count for anything here, getting the on landings, because an on landing is for a charge, but it is a more graceful it is more graceful landing, even though we're just shooting the bow, we're never charging it or getting an on landing charge to expedite a charge. So shoot him in the head, evade once, shoot him in the belly. See, this works. It's auto-targeting the correct location, so I don't even have to move the right analog stick. But you'll see at the end of this, and I'm conserving my Nympho too, just because I know how flexible these projectile attacks are. It really is like they go out of your way to not hit you, and that's usually not the problem. The problem is his arm swipes. So see right there. Broke my guard, but I didn't receive any damage, so all was fine. And for the next fight, you probably just want to have your Inferno equipped, and this weapon is a suitable weapon. Very, very capable weapon. If you want the Scythe or the Lunar, it's basically... It's the player's choice. And here I think no, that's the right way. It's the player's choice, but I still think this weapon is fully... There's nothing wrong with this weapon. So I don't know what phase this is. It's probably the 4th phase. And why is it targeting that? Yeah, see, I want to target his head, but it's targeting the dim area of his belly, which is not going to help me do anything. So really bad, because the player should not have to move the right analog stick. Right there, I needed to use. I needed to extend my jump, and right there, I was spared right there from receiving a lot of damage. But the blood cough is very easy to dodge. It's just kind of wrestling with the controls of the bow really irritates me like nothing else. So I dropped Nimpo so I was concerned about getting damaged from the projectile attack. We're hitting him in his face, avoiding the blood cough. Now I see some projectiles coming. I'm going to have to do the Azuna drop, but he's doing the projectile too, so we've got to multitask a little bit. Got a Nimpo drop there, which is very good, so I could use in the next... see, it's auto-targeting that for no reason. It should never do that. It should auto-target his head, and it screwed me up really bad over here. See, right there, I might have died, so I needed to use that Nimpo right away. And that was another close call right there. I don't know how I might have had iframes from the reverse wind from that. I don't know. But just a couple more shots and we're going to be on the true form of the Arch Fiend. And it's a really epic battle that I like. And he does 4 slams of his fist on the ground here. And also, this is the move you want to look for. All I'm pressing right there is square. So a bunch of square attacks, a bunch of light attacks that I could... dare I say, kind of cancel out of them and back off if he's going to grab. Grabbing's not really an issue unless you're overstaying your welcome next to him. So you really just see those were triangle attacks, and there's the grab. So I had to use Nimpo, or I would have died, guaranteed. So I really wouldn't mess around with hitting him too many times. See, like here, you're completely safe to hit him, and now just stay on the furthest side of his hand. There I got misplaced, so I needed to evade right there. And what's happening here is that when you're landing, you're doing the reverse wind and you're having the iframe, so that's how you're not getting hit. Although it's no one's perfect, I probably do get hit at some point, but I like to do just quick square attacks and also square, triangle, and then evade out of the way, just to be on the safe side in case he tries to grab me. But he will start, I mean, it's kind of random. He will do a lot of ground punches, or he'll do a lot of laser attacks, or he'll do neither and do a lot of attacks when he's airborne and you can't hit him. Like now he's going to be going into the air and doing these attacks here. This is great when he's just walking on the surface here. He's actually kneeling, so I could hit him a lot. So this went really well, and hopefully I can demonstrate the evasions you need to do here. He does these meteor attacks here, and if you are caught in a corner, drop Nimpo. He will fly across the screen, get onto one side of it. And he also electrifies the ground, and you need to have a weapon on that'll give you a lot of hang time, like the Scythe or the Lunar, or try to do the Izuna drop. That will work, or just drop Nimpo. Simple as that. See, like right here? I just evaded to the right, actually. So he's back to his old regular routine here of slamming his fist onto this platform. So I'm going to evade the necessary number of times, and it does require an acquired timing, but that's all it took to take this guy down. And for my UT choice, I selected the Tonfa, since I couldn't help it. But I really want to thank everybody for watching my guide, and I appreciate the support, and I'll see you in my next project.